Yeah, we always talk about the postseason prominence, right? Wins, Mid-American Conference program wins. As there you see a lot of the bowl representation for the various MAC programs. See virtually every bowl here that Group of Five programs go to. Representing the Mid-American Conference. Great to have you along, everybody. Michael Regai, Ryan Cavanaugh. Pleased to be joined by the veteran head football coach of the Northern Illinois Huskies, as we say hello and happy football season to one of the greatest running backs the Mid-American Conference has ever seen, folks. Thomas Hammock.
Hey, I'm glad to be here and obviously excited about the season.
Yeah. How often do you still think about some of those days? Do you put the tape up a little bit when you were carrying the rock into Cal?
You know, every once in a while.
That's what I want to do out here. Yeah, that's great. That's what we wanted to hear. All right, Thomas, we start this roller coaster that we speak of, every year, the Mid-America. 2 years ago, right across the street at Ford Field, you win the MAC football championship. Last year, you're expecting things to go in that same variety, and it didn't happen. You didn't have the type of year you wanted. What's going to be as we look at to where you've been the last 3 years, record-wise, what's going to be the main thrust to get you back to repeating that 2021 title?
Well, I think for us, the positions that take time to develop, I feel like we're really strong on the offensive line, the defensive line, and at the quarterback position. And as you know, in the weather and the elements, that becomes a factor later in the season. So we feel like we have quality depth, a lot of guys that have playing experience, and we're going to lean on that depth and experience throughout the year.
Speaking of experience, you have a very experienced quarterback in Rocky Lombardi who's coming back. Talk about what that process was and his decision to come back for another year.
No, obviously the injury hurt us last year, and he knew early on that he wanted to come back. And so for us, it was about getting him healthy, getting him in the right mindset, and getting enough weapons around him where he can feel excited. And I think he's really excited about the guys that we have, the guys that we have coming back. And about a month ago, I really thought he turned the corner in his preparation as far as being the guy we expect him to be.
Oh, that's great. Well, you're going to lose a coach on the sidelines because after he got injured, he really helped out the other quarterbacks and continued that veteran leadership role that Rocky brings to the table. You mentioned weapons. You guys get Trayvon Rudolph back.
Yes.
And, of course, Casper Rutkowitz, who stepped up with the injury. Talk about those offensive guys and what the expectations are.
Well, those two guys, give us a quality duo at the wide receiver position. Added a young man, Davis Patterson. We added some dynamic tight ends. We are a tight end-driven offense and want to be able to feature those guys. And then in the backfield, I think we got some backs that's going to really help us be the type of team we want to be offensively.
Yeah, how does Gavin Williams, the transfer from Iowa, coming in, how does he complement Ontario Brown in the backfield?
Well, I think you got two guys that's capable of being 1,000-yard rushers, and so when you have that type of tandem, we can lean on those guys. If you can have an opportunity to get a lead, we can certainly milk the clock a little bit if we need to.
Coach, before we go, I got to ask you about your defense. You have a lot of experience coming back. I think 17 players had 100 snaps on the defensive side of the ball. Jaden Dolphin, Nick Alvarado are the linebackers. Talk about what they bring to the table and your defensive unit as a whole.
Yeah, defensively it starts up front, and I feel like our interior defensive front is going to be extremely strong and keep offensive linemen off our linebackers and allow those guys to play. And then on the back end, we got some experience and some depth, and I'm excited to watch those guys play defense.
Thomas, we talk about being excited. We mentioned a moment ago, coming with winning a championship, that brings a football program right to an entirely different level, not only about how you're perceived, but about how your players feel about the program itself. How have you found that to be one that makes you feel good about, we win a championship, we know what that takes to do now, we earmark that as we get back to at it?
Well, there's a lot of hunger. A lot of guys from that championship team are back. We were an extremely young team in 21, got a lot more experience now, and those guys understand what it takes, what it looks like, and they have the leadership qualities to bring the young guys along because as we found out last year, you never know what young guy you're going to need, and we have to continue to build the depth so we can sustain for 12 games.
won the MAC championship in 2021, 2021 Mid-American Conference Coach of the Year. Thomas Hammock has been nothing but a big-time success at your alma mater. We expect that to, and I know you two as well, expect that to continue.
And our players expect it, so
yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Thomas, thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate you being here. And we're going to take a look at the 2023 schedule that Northern Illinois will face. They start out at Boston College, and then after the home game against in-state rival Southern Illinois, that trip to Nebraska, and then Tulsa at home before opening up with Toledo. I feel that this program is way closer and can get back to where they were in 2021.
I would agree with you, Reg. And when I look at this, I mean, look, the X factor is health. And they had so many injuries last year. It was adversity after adversity. But for me, September 30th, I have that circled. If they can go into the Glass Bowl, knock off Toledo, now you're only looking at going on the road to Akron, Kent State, and Central Michigan. We are joined now by James Ester. James, how are you doing?
Doing great. Great to be here, man.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. You're part of maybe the best defensive line.
Maybe.
Best defensive you tell me. the best tackles in the league, in the MAC.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a great group of guys that come to work every day, and I mean, at the end of the season, we'll let the numbers show who's the best. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that.
I like the confidence, but that's how you should be, right?
Yeah, for
I mean,
sure.
you know what you guys are capable of.
Absolutely.
So for you, is this is an opportunity for you to step up and become more of a leader, both with play and vocally?
For sure. I mean, Coach Hammock kind of thrust me into a leadership role from a pretty young age. I was one of the younger guys on the team. I came in around 17 when I first got to school, and he kind of pushed me to that. So, I mean, obviously, this being my last year, I definitely want to bring guys along because obviously we've laid a solid foundation. We want to continue to build guys up. So,
you had a strong year a season ago. I'm sorry, Ryan.
No, go.
You had a strong year a season ago, all MAC honors. Just from a personal standpoint, James, what is your expectations in terms of how your game can improve and enhance to help the football team?
For me personally, I think just playing a little bit faster. I feel like I tend to be somewhat of a perfectionist sometimes, so I really just want to be able to play more free and allow myself to make all the plays that I know I'm capable of making.
By playing freer, I mean, do you think that can have an effect certainly against an opposition, both the run game and their pass game?
Absolutely. I feel like there have been times when I've been a little bit one-dimensional, and so I feel like for me, take it to the next level, just be playing a little bit faster, a little bit more two gaps, stuff like that. Just a little bit more finesse to it. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
You know, before we go here, I just want you guys to know that I'm outnumbered, as you two are both graduates of Cass Tech.
Oh, yes, sir.
Right down the street here in lovely Detroit. So I had to get that out there, James.
Come on.
Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate that. Yeah, one of the top academic schools and football programs
Absolutely.
in the state of Michigan.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, listen, have a great year.
Thank you.
Okay, hope it goes wonderfully well. We look forward to seeing you in DeKalb this year.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys.
All right, James. Thanks so much.
Have a good one.
The native of the Motor City in DeKalb, Illinois.